Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do my next part for what if is Deku was a Saiyan. In the last part, Beerus and Whis just arrived and Beerus Hakai'd Cell because the Grand Priest wants them to protect Izuku because he wants him to basically be the next destroyer of, well, the first destroyer of that universe. Since they already have a Kai, so it goes with it. So just to save him, they basically did that. And then they explained what was happening, but to him in private, about him being alien from another universe, which Izuku said, yeah, I know that. Then they said, no, your race is basically dead, except from a few members dispersed around Universe 7. He said, I didn't know that. And then they say their status, so Whis being Angel, and Beerus God of Destruction. Which, when he hears that, he basically goes into a fighting stance saying, what, so you want to destroy this planet now? Which Beerus says, no, not really. We were sent here to make sure that you didn't get hurt and that you were able to get stronger. So, basically, after telling him that, Izuku said, so, you want to protect me, but why? And then we said, because every universe needs a god of destruction and a god of creation. The Kais are the god of creation. We, the angel, are the advisor of the god of destructions. But this universe only has a Kai. And you are the strongest being that comes from another universe, and you are able to be here. A universe which basically everything that is in it comes from things that were just brought here by mistake, or that were absorbed here by black holes or other things. There are multiple species in your universe, well, in this universe, but most of them don't seem to want to train that much. A lot of them are strong, but most of the strong ones are or fully evil, or people who only want to train for themselves and do not care if they die or live. A god of destruction is someone that needs to destroy a planet or more if problems are on it for the rest of the universe. Let's say this planet, for example. They are not a problem for anyone, even though a lot of them are starting to become quite powerful. That is only because you cannot travel in space very easily compared to most species, even if you could be dangerous at some point. You are not now, so you do not destroy them. This is a job of destroyer. Find planets that are actually safe to destroy by making sure that the people on them are simply there to destroy other planets or other life forms. And so we will need to fight someone that will be the destroyer for this place, this universe, and that will only destroy people who are truly bad. And then Izuku basically thinks, wait, why are you saying that to me? And it clicks and it said, oh, you want me to be the destroyer. Which we says, well, not us personally, but someone higher than me. So I kind of have to oblige with this. He tasked me on protecting you. He tasked us on protecting you and training you until you are ready to be a destroyer. So basically now Whis is going to or heal Deku and train him, I mean. Later the police arrived, Izuku comes back with everyone, and basically one person was listening to the whole thing, earphone jack, and did hear everything and was like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I should probably keep that a secret from everyone. Because she just thought, if that guy's capable of destroying planets, what will he do to me? If he finds out I'm talking to others about something that should be private. So she decides to keep it a secret for now. The police ask who they are. Aizawa says that they basically arrived to protect and protected them, and that he would still want to know who they are. Izuku basically says, funny enough, they come from the same place as my parents. So Aizawa says, oh, so a secret. I see. So you're strong, right? So we are going to during that time, Momo said that she did put a tracker on one of the Nomus, and she said that to Aizawa, and he decided that he wanted to tell it to Izuku, and because they were probably going to do something about it, and he asked them if they would be able to do something about it, and they said they're not supposed to interfere with anything unless he is in danger, pointing to Izuku. Which Aizawa says, I don't know if he will be. He's probably the strong. Except for that guy and for the guy he destroyed. Basically, no one else is even close to his strength. So basically, they said, so no matter what happens, we won't be needed for a while. They look at Izuku and says, we're going to go wait on the place where you train. Because, well, Beerus doesn't take time to learn names and stuff like that, so he wouldn't recall that it is called the Lookout, even if Whis would have told him. So basically Whis goes light speed all the way to that place. Well, not light speed, but even faster than that. Since it takes 8 minutes for the sun to send us light on all the way to Earth, but Whis is capable of passing practically the entire universe, well, the entire half of the universe practically in like 20 minutes. So he goes a lot faster than light. So after hearing that, Izuku basically says okay, then everyone goes back to school. well, no, to a hospital, and in the hospital, stuff happens up until Aizawa tells Deku, we're going to be needing you. We're going to do a raid on the villain's hideout, and they want All Might to go directly to the um, villain association, while they want you to go to the Nomu factory, since they seem to be getting stronger Nomus every day, every time we see them. So we want you to at least be there. So basically he's going to be where All for One is. So they start the raid, stuff happens. Well, they give the plan actually. All Might looks at Izuku and tells him, do your best and try try not to kill anyone unless absolutely needed to. Which every hero basically looks at him because he already killed some people. He tells him, every time I kill someone, it is because it is absolutely necessary or because my power forced me to lose control. I don't do it because I want to. I only kill people who or forces me to do that, because if not, they are a danger to more people, and that and that normal prison or even the specialized prison would probably not even be able to contain them. So All Might tells him, just try not to kill anyone. And he says, no promises, you know my way. Which then they separate into two groups to go to the villain hideout and the Nomu factory. At the Nomu factory, when the explosion is about to happen, with All for One basically exploding an entire block, Izuku felt it and basically pushed everyone that were close to him away from, well, basically he blew up a wall and basically threw everyone to the streets and stuff like that. And then the explosion happened, and the only thing that All for One was able to see after the explosion was, well, a kid looking at him with anger in his eyes. Because All Might told Izuku about All for One and what he did to him and his parents. So when he saw him, just his presence was telling him, that's the guy. And so he kind of just saw him. Every hero told him, be careful with him. And Izuku just went to go and knock him out. And then Cell. But not the same Cell as we saw before, and that was killed by Beerus. This one is different. Then the doctor that basically created Cell looks at Izuku and says, the last one of my creation was destroyed. Pretty much easily, even though he was getting a lot stronger. I do not know what happened, but this one has about the same strength as the other one, but with a lot more stamina. If you had trouble with the last one, you're going to lose against this one. Which he knows it, because he's feeling it. It is about 10% less strong than Cell in his golden form from the last episode, which was literally mopping the floor with Izuku, even with 4000 times his power level because of his Super Saiyan 3 Ozaru form. And this one was less powerful, but Izuku was still having a massive amount of trouble in his strongest form. And when Cell came out, Beerus and Whis were like, so there was more than one. Whis asked Beerus if they should go there, and then he said, let's first see what the kid's capable of. So let's go there and wait on the sidelines. Which they basically do. And the moment they arrived there, Izuku was looking at Cell, with Cell laughing at him, saying that the last one was strong, but nowhere near as capable as this one. Because this one, compared to the last Cell, had more powers. The last one was basically just kind of exactly like our Cell, just with more resistance from regeneration quirks, stuff like that. He had exactly the same powers. This one basically has a lot more quirks in him, which makes him a lot tougher, but his strength and ki level are just lower, so he might look weaker and feel weaker by the ki, but he's a lot worse. Like, without kidding, I would say because of all the quirks he has, Izuku would basically be screwed normally. If he wouldn't have gotten a certain Zenkai boost after literally being beaten up by the same guy after transforming into Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, going back to Super Saiyan and going Ozaru, and then going Super Saiyan 3 in that form before going back to Ozaru. So he passed from normal level of strength to 50 times, to 100 times, to 400 times, to 500 times, to 4000 times. And each of those times, Cell was putting him down to the ground, and then someone else came in to kind of try and get him off of Izuku for a bit, with others giving him ki, which was giving him a small Zenkai boost, because he wasn't being beaten up enough because Cell was basically just playing with him. When he turned Ozaru Super Saiyan 3, Cell basically just went all out on him that time and was trying to wipe his ass in the most painful way possible. So when Whis healed him, like almost every bone in his body was broken. He had a lot of organs that were basically starting to be destroyed. He would have had multiple brain hemorrhage, but when Whis healed him, all of that basically went away, and at the same time, with the healing that it gave him a massive Zenkai boost that was basically like 2 or 3 times his normal strength that was for him now. So he got stronger just from that. And I just thought about what I just said. Not 2 or 3 times stronger, 1.5 or 2 or 1.6 times stronger only. Because I just thought about it. I said his power level was huge, which is not wrong, but if you put that times 3, it still makes it so that if he transformed back into an Ozaru Super Saiyan 3, instead of only being 4,000 times his strength, it would have been already 12,000 times. And I still want him to struggle right now with Cell before he starts training with someone. So basically, he was stronger and he was kind of able to keep up at first because Cell was playing with him. Well, new Cell. Then Cell said, well, if you're able to keep up with that, I'm going to go all out. Which Izuku sensed suddenly a massive raise of rising in his ki and directly started turning Super Saiyan 3 and popping out the Blood's Wave Ball, making him go Super Saiyan 3 Ozaru. Oh yeah, also I'm going by Super Law, so no Super Saiyan 4. Because yes, the transformation is awesome, but so yeah. Um, After the Zenkai boost, it's even worse to control, but he's basically thinking, well, basically he's sensing that someone's near. No, he's not sensing Beerus and Whis. Bakugo basically followed them to the raid, and All Might was basically there now. So both of them knows that if they want to stop Izuku, they basically destroy the ball of energy. So they're basically looking at a clash of titans that is massive. Like, Cell is basically, in terms of power this time, they're a lot closer together. Not close enough for Izuku to win, but this time Izuku doesn't get shit on, literally, by half of Cell power. Well, not even half, because, well, yeah. And yeah, also the reason that um, I'm saying that those two are there is basically because Izuku, in his blinded rage against Cell, with Cell basically putting him down every time, was basically starting to break everything around him, basically putting heroes in danger. Oh, also, he almost crushed One for All multiple times, and he decided to try and get away until All Might basically arrived behind him and took him down. So basically, Bakugo saw that Izuku was starting to struggle way too much to control it and that he was destroying too many things. So he decided to put a stop to it, screaming to All Might that they have to push the Nomu away. Well, they have to push Cell away and destroy the ball of energy. And that only because at this point Izuku was basically on the ground with Cell, basically beating the hell out of him, saying that's all you've got and keeping continuously punching over and over again. So when they went to push him away, he started making a massive ball of energy, going to strike Izuku, and then he basically got stopped by some purple energy that started going around him. And he gets destroyed as well by Beerus. Then he basically destroyed the ball of energy. Izuku falls on the ground. Not as beaten up, but pretty bad anyway. Whis heals him, and the raid is basically ended. The heroes went to try and ask All Might what the hell that was, and he basically says that this is when he goes overboard. Normally he doesn't have to do that against basically anyone, but when he does need it, the problem is that it's almost uncontrollable. So he only uses it in rare instance. And then when they go back to school, I know they're taking a pause after that, and then creating the dorms. But during that period where it is paused, we basically told Izuku that they need to train. He looked at the time chamber, and since Whis doesn't actually need to matter about aging, he told Deku that they're going to go in there and train until school starts back. And if you remember correctly, when Vegeta started training, in 6 months, he went from base form weaker than Goku to base form a lot stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So I'll say that they decided to stop school for 2 days before actually bringing the kid in the dorms. So 2 years of training, it's not enough to bring him to the same level as Vegeta and Goku, even though for him it's basically a 24/7 time training, since he doesn't need to eat, sleep, drink, whatever. So in 2 years of training 24/7, how powerful does someone get? If you want to say it's getting too powerful, that's literally the theory. Saiyans are supposed to be getting overpowered like hell. And in this one, there won't be a tournament for Izuku, for good reasons. So, after we trained him for those 2 years, they came back out. Whis was basically telling Beerus that if he wants to fight him, he can go in the time chamber to do so. But Aizawa and All Might were basically waiting for him outside and said, please don't, we kind of have a schedule And the only reason we're here is because we need him to be there. So, Beerus said, don't worry. For seconds here we have... no, for a minute here we have more than an hour in there. So don't worry. Well, no. Time passed 365 times faster in it, so a second would be about 10 seconds and a half. So an entire minute would have the same exact thing, so 10 minutes and a half. Yeah. So they don't do it right now then. Let's say Beerus says, nah, I don't feel that interested in him yet. He needs to train more before doing that. Oh, also, Whis and trained Izuku to have God Ki, and while using it, at one point, Whis told Izuku to try and go Super Saiyan, but only by using God Ki, which unlocked him Super Saiyan God. Because I think that's the way you get it, by basically trying to transform only using God Ki. And Super Saiyan Blue is basically just using that same kind of way of thinking, but adding Super Saiyan on top of that. And he was able to learn how to transform into Super Saiyan God. He did try Super Saiyan Blue. He was able for a small amount of time. But because of the amount of energy it takes, he basically didn't use it at all. He trained a lot on his stamina with Whis, because Whis saw that it really takes a lot out of him, just normal he was able to train for multiple years just to be able to control Super Saiyan 3 and kind of be able to fight for a long time. While his two other forms are so he's so used to them that he can basically use them without repercussion for him in cost of stamina. So yeah, they went to see Inko, they talked to her about it, and she wasn't like in the anime trying to protect him, because basically she knows he's one of the most powerful monsters on that planet, and she really thinks strongest monster at this point, because well, she does love him. Don't worry, it's just that she knows he's powerful, and that most people will if he uses his the form he used against this cell, because almost every camera was pointing at him. She knew that in that form he was basically a monster, something that only attacks and doesn't take in consideration others, even if they are his friends, is a monster. So when thinking of that form, she's thinking of a monster. Normally she doesn't, because well, it's Izuku, he's practically capable of controlling anything else easily. But yeah. So they go in dorms, and every night, basically the difference between in the anime and this one is that compared to Izuku having a curfew every night, it's basically when everyone goes to sleep, he goes to the time chamber to train with Whis for like 2 hours before coming back and going to sleep. So he trained for like. Wait. Uh, 1 hour is basically half a month. So for 2 hours, he basically trained 1 month per night to make sure that he's able to take the job of destroyer because he decided to accept. They didn't tell him yet that he'll need something before being able to go full-fledged destroyer, which is another angel, which is still in training for a long amount of time. So basically right now he's becoming someone overpowerful. He is going to get the power of destroyer, but way later. So basically the series will have ended, and around those moments he's going to finally get the status of destroyer with an angel. Because in the anime I think Goku's like 50 or something when he meets. No, he's about 60 or something when he meets Maris for the first time. So Izuku will be about the same age because, well, I told, like I said, they're like only a year or something apart. Since Izuku was born 1 month before the destruction of planet Vegeta. And yeah. So this is basically the training he has done and will do with Whis about the destroyer powers. Well, the destroyer post. So yeah. Hope you liked it. That was What If Izuku Was a Saiyan? And Natsu out.